Controversial influencer Andrew Tate has been banned from Facebook and Instagram.
They can't cancel me. They've tried, but they can't. They've failed to stop me. They've emptied their clip, and I'm still alive. The bullets have bounced off.
Most people that make a lot of money hide away. You don't hide away.
I've had a hard life. Even my day-to-day reality would be too stressful for 99.9% of people on the planet. How many people out there have such ridiculous sums of money? None of these people are getting these things by following the path the system is trying to make me follow. Most people who follow the path work, consume, die. What do you want? I was the most Googled man on the planet. More than Donald Trump, more than Joe Biden, more than Putin at the start of the war. I was that Googled. No matter what they do or what law they make, there's going to be people who work harder than you. So if you're going to be a lazy dummy watching Love Island and not try and think and use your brain, guess what? You're going to stay fucking broke. A lot of people are completely empty vessels ready to be programmed. And I try and tell people, listen, to just stop for a second and understand that the things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. The people who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of the people who make the rules.
Yeah.
It's the game. So basically in the Matrix, there's an artificial reality, a computer generated reality, and people are being harvested for their body heat in a real world. And their minds are being used, their minds are being occupied by this computer generated reality. And the basic premise of the show is that their body is being used for what is important, and they just distract their minds so that their body can stay alive long enough to give the machines what they want. And I really truly believe that's a perfect analogy for the world today. We live in a world where people are being extracted for their value, their physical value, whether you're digging holes or carrying garbage or whatever. And your mind is constantly distracted by garbage. It's distracted by TV shows and concerts and clown world. I call it clown world because it's a never-ending circus. All this garbage they distract you with. First it's COVID, and then Putin cures COVID the day he invades and COVID's cured. And it's all just a big scam from head to toe. And the reason I call it the Matrix is because a false reality is being projected onto humanity, and they do that by controlling narratives. If they allowed people to have critical and open conversations about, let's say, COVID, at the height of the pandemic, it never would have lasted 3 years. But the reason, because they censor and delete one entire side of the argument, then you're only left with their version of reality, and they're projecting a reality. And they do that with nearly every subject. We live in a world where I don't think the average person realizes how much they are lied to. From the way money works is a lie, financial system's a lie, judicial system's a lie, medical health care is a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a scam. Just go to work, pay your taxes. And that's why I call it the Matrix. If you had a bunch of slaves and a bunch of suckers working their asses off for pennies, are you gonna tell them the truth? Would you?
I mean, I can't possibly imagine that situation.
Why the fuck would you tell them the truth? Why, the truth? How does the truth benefit?
So what's their benefit then? They own everything. They own the newspapers, the media. What is the agenda of the Matrix?
The agenda is just narrative control.
Right.
The agenda is narrative control, and as long as they control a narrative, they can control the populace to do whatever they need them to do. It doesn't matter if they convince you to be afraid of the common cold and stay in your house and destroy your own business and not see your own fucking grandmother for 2 years. It doesn't matter if they convince you that the planet's setting on fire and global warming is real, and now for some reason if they tax you, it'll fix it. It doesn't matter what it is. They create a narrative. They prevent people from talking to counter to that narrative. They now own reality. You change all the Google search results, everything online says a certain thing must be true, and then you use it you weaponize it for your own benefit, whether it's higher tax rates or more control or movement or giving people's freedoms away, etc.
So I was last night and I got a message on Instagram from some guy I used to know for a long time, etc., etc. He goes, hey, let's have a cigar. I said, okay, cool, let's have a cigar. We met, we had a cigar, and he said, hey man, I just want to show you some videos. And he showed me some videos of him with some very famous people. I won't say their names, some famous people. And he said, bro, you need to be careful. I was like, what? He goes, when I was hanging around with these people, I won't tell the story of how he knows them, blah, blah, blah. He was saying they had to sell their soul to a degree to get that level of influence. These are like some of those famous people.
Yeah.
And he's saying that the people who are in charge of controlling the narrative don't like people who have a huge influence who they don't control to some degree. And the internet's changed that, but still, people who have a massive influence over populations and society, they want to control one way or another, and you need to be very careful. About 4 hours after this conversation, maybe about 2 a.m. last night, I got a message on my WhatsApp saying, hey, my name is XX, I'm a friend of this guy, so I got your number. We want to invite you to a private party. There's a private island we want to invite you to.
Not a private island, bro. We can't be doing these islands no more, man.
It can't be an Epstein Island, bro.
We can't. If we find out you're up to...
I'm telling you now on the podcast to show everyone I'm not fucking doing it, but if I get smoked, you know why. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe I do have quite a lot of influence, etc. Maybe people would like some leverage over me. Maybe they would like, a video of me in a hotel room, even if it's just chicks, even if it's just something normal, but they get the video and then they fucking flip it. There are things that come with fame that start making you be careful, especially with me as well, because I'm seen as a bad guy. I'm a bad man, right? So I have to be very, very careful who I interact with. Like, I have no new friends. I talk to the same people I spoke to in Ellsberg. I have no new friends. I don't hire no new people. I've been invited by some some of the most, I could tell you names you wouldn't believe it, the most famous people on the planet have DM'd me saying, hey, come to my party. I'm like, no. Wow. I'm staying away from all of it, right? Because I want to try and stay outside the matrix. And I think there's a level to the matrix once you get caught in it, you're fucked again. So I'm saying this on Spotify. So I would never kill myself, firstly.
There it is.
And secondly, it's kind of scary.
Where do you see all this going? What can the people do? What can Trump do? Where do you see it going?
Yeah, it's difficult because you have a lot of people who will sell their soul, and they sell their soul to the devil just to keep their platform or just to be promoted. I was saying this earlier with David Knight. If you look at the people within the sports world or people within the liberal Hollywood elite, etc., the people who get to the top are the ones who sell their soul and go furthest down the rabbit hole. So it's almost a race to the bottom. Who can be most crazy? Who can be most liberal? Who can sell their soul the quickest? Because that's the only way you get promoted nowadays. And that's what's happening. People are just giving up their morals. We're the scum of the earth, and we'll accept anything, and we're the most degenerate. So please promote me and make me famous in some way or
So they're literally auditioning for the devil.
Yeah, it's auditioning for the devil. It's who can be the biggest piece of garbage. That's all it comes down to.
People that support this evil are literally look like they're dead. They can hardly talk. Statistically, they're dying. They have diseases. They're committing suicide. I mean, the wages of sin are death. Something's happening. People are getting stronger or they're getting weaker. It seems like there's an acceleration of that.
So why did Andrew Tate get banned?
They did not tell me. They did not send me an email, no correspondence. I certainly didn't break terms of service. I guess that's why they couldn't send me an email and explain why. Nobody told me, whether it was YouTube that banned me or Meta that banned me. They banned me instantly and forever without any kind of correspondence. They've not told me why. They've not told anyone what I did. The media machine, in synchronization with the ban, we can call that coincidence if you want to believe in such things, came out with some kind of bullshit explanation that I'm misogynistic or some garbage. But the actual social media companies themselves provided no explanation at all, no correspondence at all. They just deleted me. That was it. But assuming they are semi-professional to any regard, and that is a big assumption, but let's assume they're professional. That means that when they ban somebody like me, especially the most Google search person on the planet, they must have teams which are analyzing in real time the response to said action, right? Mm-hmm. They should have people sitting there on the ground analyzing. Now, they attacked me with their media machine because first they shut you up so they can lie about you. So they shut me up. Then they did the massive media push to try and attempt to lie about me. But despite that, the majority of comments regarding me are still positive. The majority of people believe and understand that this ban is unfair. And if these companies have any degree of professionalism, they're analyzing this in real time and they're understanding that this makes us look very bad. People didn't believe the lie. People didn't believe what we attempted to smear this man with. Nobody is buying this narrative. And this is going to have a negative effect on us for a very, very long time. Because when you're in charge of the world, which they are, as soon as you're no longer seen as just and fair, you're seen as tyrannical. And once you're seen as tyrannical, then there's going to be some kind of mass movement against you. They banned me from YouTube. Then they banned me from Discord. Then they banned me from Airbnb. They banned me from Stripe. I can't even remember.
Airbnb?
It was just emails coming in faster than you could believe. Ban.
So it wasn't just the socials.
Oh, no. The Matrix presses a button, my friend. Yeah. And every app on your phone stops working. Uber. You name it. Uber.
Stop.
You name it.
Wait, you can't use Uber?
Well, I can use Uber. You just start a new account, right? But
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Uber. Catch me. But
your main account on Uber was taken.
They take everything from you.
Everything. Coordinated effort all at once.
Coordinated effort all at once. Every single one of them just goes, no. Delete. And they come at you with everything.
And Stripe.
Banks.
Payment processing.
Oh, and banks. UK-based banks as well. High Street, banks. But I can name Santander, HSBC, Barclays, etc. all at the same time.
Banks.
Oh, no, sorry. To change, we've decided because blah, blah, some bullshit, some letter, close your accounts. So they take all your banking, they take your payment processing, they take all your social media presence, they take your Discord, they take your Skype, they take all your accounts, your ability to communicate with people, and then they lie about you in the press.
Who is they?
Well, that's a good question. Even if I knew all their names, I wouldn't say it here. But
why wouldn't you say it here?
I wouldn't say it here because they've already given me quite a few warnings. And I'm now at the point where I actually truly believe they're going to try and kill me. I understand that you get 3 strikes in this game. Strike 1 is they try and shut you up and discredit you, which I've just been through. Strike 2 is they try and put you in jail for no reason. And strike 3 is they kill you. And one of my strikes is now gone, and I now firmly believe that they're going to try and kill me because they want me to be quiet and I'm not being quiet. And I have huge amounts of influence, which is what they're scared of. So what they tell people to believe, the mindsets they want you to adopt, is so they can influence you. So when somebody like me comes along who has a mass amount of influence and it's going in a direction they're contrary to, they sit and go, wow, this is a big problem from one person. And people have car accidents, people get robbed, people get shot. And that's the unfortunate reality of human nature. When you are a very large problem for very powerful people, they look for quick solutions, and the easiest solution is to kill you. And I think it's going to get there if I'm not extremely careful.
It appears the insanity of the ruling elite is exposed worldwide now. They will kill you. Keep your mouths shut. Behave as sheep. I've had serious, long conversations contemplating whether they're going to try and kill me. I would like to think they're not. All I'm trying to do is teach men to be strong. If they decide to kill me on a long enough time frame, they're going to be successful. But I can't. I don't want to live in fear. Because what did I say in the earlier tenet? If I become a coward, I will live in fear, and it breeds inaction. I won't be sitting here telling the truth. I want the world to know that I'd absolutely never ever kill myself under any circumstances ever, no matter what they say. I did not kill myself, ever. But that's what they want. They want you to behave as a sheep. I don't want to be seen as a threat to the elites to the point where they believe I have to die. I want to be seen as a positive force for the world. And I'm going to stick true to my mission, and I'm going to trust in God, because I don't see what else I can do.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program.
Is it really so hard to believe?
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
You're here because the world is not what you've been told it is. The Matrix is everywhere. Fact-checked studies that everybody believes, the news you watch, the way you've been taught to think, the educational system, the opinions of the people who love you. The Matrix exists to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. They have imprisoned your mind. Anxiousness, depression, stress. They have stolen your consciousness. You are enslaved by preoccupation.
What can I do?
The world is binary. There is only action and inaction. Freedom requires you to act, Neo. Remember, all I am offering is the truth, nothing more.
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Well, you don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously. The time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh. I like it.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things, and you know, and you know, look at him trying to come it out. It's hilarious, hilarious. You know, and I'm sick of, hold on a second. You know what they're trying to do? Who? This thing is buzzing. Hold on. They're trying to turn us into, you know, consumer drones of some sort. Hold on, I just got to get this.
And yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm in the middle of blowing the lid off some.
What happened?
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I was temporarily interrupted by my iPhone 6 Plus. 5.5.
That's a big one, huh?
5.5 heads-up HD display. I think what I was really trying to say was I think people will enjoy Dumb and Dumber this weekend.
And that is what I thought you were about to say.
Hey, Jim Carrey. Yes.
What?
I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, you know, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join. And here I am.
They're celebrating.
I mean, you got to admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons.
in
Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, you know, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. What do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry? You're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut her down now.
But Jim, you got really dressed up for the occasion. You look good.
No, I didn't.
Was that an
get dressed
accident?
up. I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's happening in our world right now? Because there is a lot of news that actually is relevant that's not that
Here's
uplifting.
the thing. It's not our world.
None
That's
of this
the
is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Oh,
How's life? Everything good?
You know, it's so beautiful. It really is, especially when I'm absent from it.
Do you feel like you're separated from the rest of the world and what's going on?
No, not separated at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, Jim Carrey is a great character, and I was lucky to get the part. But I don't think of that as me anymore.
You don't? Not at all?
Not really, no. I used to be a guy who was experiencing the world, and now I feel like the world and the universe experiencing a guy.
Truman, you're not well.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I've tasted other cocos. This is the best.
What the hell does this have to do with anything? Tell me what's happening!
Well, You're having a nervous breakdown. Do something!
What'd you say? Who are you talking to?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
You said you said.
No, I didn't talk. I wasn't talking to anybody.
Humankind was not in charge of its destiny. It was the unwitting prisoner of a race of shape-shifting lizards who occupied the roles in the highest echelons of society. From presidents to royal families, all trusted public figures were secretly part of a reptilian, Satanist pedophile group who had been on this planet for centuries. People began to take notice of Icke, and today he spends most of his year preaching to amphitheaters full of fans.
Regular stuff. And then I came across with this stuff, and it was
Get
like,
it out of the way.
Don't mention the reptiles. They'll just laugh at you again. I said, I know, but I've seen enough and heard enough to believe that it's real, and so I say it. I don't care about the consequences for me. Are you frightened? No, I'm not. I don't care, because the consequences for the world and my children and my grandchildren and everyone else's of humans not intervening in this process that's going on now ever more quickly, are that we are condemning our children and grandchildren, indeed ourselves. It's that close to a world that George Orwell so massively understated. In simple terms, there is a predator race which take a reptilian form. They're feeding off humanity. They've turned humanity into a slave race. They demand human sacrifice. That's where Satanism comes in. They feed off human energy, particularly feed off the energy of children. I'm saying it's broadcasting something, that it acts as a blocking frequency that stops us seeing and perceiving things that we would normally perceive. That is creating what I call the moon matrix, or the Saturn moon matrix, and it's basically having the effect of the fake reality in the Matrix movies.
So this is a place here then where you think these rituals, or you know these rituals.
These rituals definitely go on at this place up here.
Is this?
It's called the Long Stone. In fact, there's two stones. One's on its side and one's standing up, and it's a beautiful walk this direction.
Let's go. After you.
Cheers, mate. So, when you look at all the pomp and ceremony of the royal family, you know, Buckingham Palace and all this stuff, and all the ceremonies and the guards and the horses and the colours, you're looking at ritual. It's funny, you know, you come on a day like this. It's a nice day and there's families around, and you see these stones. You could see these on May the 1st, Halloween, that kind of, in these ritual periods of the year.
And you'd be a totally different story.
You would see something very different.
So
Yeah.
this is the center point of this energy then, that they're trying to tap into.
What they would do, among many other things, you'd have them in their robes and hoods all around here, and you probably have you would have the sacrifice on the slab
This is
here.
the altar.
This is their altar, yeah. And what they're doing, it's horrible, but let's get the truth out. What they're doing is manipulating the sacrifice. The sacrifice knows the sacrifice is coming, and who's going to help them? Look,
right.
At midnight or something, no one. And what they then do is they sacrifice the victim, and they drink the blood immediately, which has this chemical substance in it, and they go crazy. I mean, you know, I've talked to people who've been at these rituals, and how once the sacrifice happens and the blood runs, these people go crazy with blood. There was a man called Stanley Kubrick, the great filmmaker.
I think I've heard of him.
Stanley Kubrick was an insider, and he wanted to expose it. And his last movie was called Eyes Wide Shut.
I've seen it.
Now, Eyes Wide Shut, he died very, very soon after it was presented to executives at the film company, and was given no fanfare whatsoever when it came out. It just disappeared.
The hell out of it as well.
Yes, they did. They took 25 minutes out of it, which he refused to do. Now, he filmed a ritual with Tom Cruise in it, in which I only know more recently was a Rothschild mansion. And what he filmed is a mild version of what goes on, because he knew. And you had the colours. You have most people in the ritual in Eyes Wide Shut were in black. The main guy was in red. Here we go again. Yeah. You had the orgies going on, and you had the people being killed, the lady being killed. But that was such a mild version. I don't know what was in the 25 minutes they took out, mind. because the real version is that there's blood everywhere.
Let's all be professionals here. Let's be smart. The Matrix has decided to character assassinate me. They have gotten all of their media establishments, all of their bullets. They fired every fucking bullet at me. Do you think they're not going to sit there and go, what other bullets do we have in the chamber? Who's his primary audience? These guys. Which cuck do we have who obeys every word we say, who also is somehow listened to by some of his guys? Logan. Go to a podcast. Andrew's bad. Whether it was YouTube, whether it was his manager, whether it was his boyfriend, fuck knows who, someone sat there and said, do this. And they sat there for 2 hours saying, Andrew's so evil. You like a bunch of pussies because they were told to.
And we're going to dive into Andrew Tate. I don't feel like platforming this guy. I don't feel like giving him the blessing of being my dance partner in the ring, especially after the social media platforms have made it very clear how they feel about this guy, right? And I would even put a little call out here to like fellow creators and even JJ, like, you want to re-platform this guy? Anyone? You want to have him on your shows? You want to give him another opportunity to speak and spread his agenda? Because whether you believe it or not, the shit that Andrew Tate is saying will have a ripple effect much more dangerous than you can imagine, because his narrative is truly hateful. His rhetoric has extreme negative energy in it.
And it will affect impressionable young people that won't show for years from now, and it's dangerous. Now, this is what he said,
This
right?
is Logan Paul, you're saying? So first things first, I want to get very, very clear that Logan Paul is absolutely and utterly a tool of the Matrix. He's a bought and sold individual with no soul. He doesn't stand up for anything, and he doesn't mean anything he says. He gets pieces of paper from Susan or whoever else telling him what he's allowed to say on his channel to retain
You
it.
believe that?
100%. Not only do I believe it, he's proved it himself. He will flip-flop on any issue. He can be bought and sold. The dude's a bitch. As soon as something comes out, whether it's Harry Styles wearing a dress, whether it's Lil Nas twerking on the devil, whether it's this, he just sits there and goes, yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is great. He is a talking piece. He is the mouthpiece for the agenda. The people have come along, people who are trying to force a narrative, and they said, look, we need to have some degree of control over the exact demographic that Tate has control over. We're going to use Logan Paul and attempt to use him. And he sits there and just purports the bullshit points of view that the whole Hollywood establishment want him to report. He doesn't believe in the things he said. He's told what to say. And because he was canceled before and it emotionally destroyed him, he sat on camera crying his eyes out like a little girl instead of being a man about it. He is so fearful of the mob, so scared of being canceled again, that he's gonna sit there and say anything he's told. He doesn't believe that shit. Before I was canceled, him and his boyfriend Mike did endless videos supporting me, laughing about me, saying how funny I was, tagging me on Instagram, inviting me places, etc. Second I'm canceled, they flip reverse it and shit themselves because they don't want to get canceled too. So he doesn't have any fans, he has viewers. And Susan and the Matrix and the people in charge of the social media companies are like, okay, we've set our media machine. Let me ask you guys questions as professionals. Let's assume, as professionals, let's assume what I'm saying is correct. Let's assume that the social media companies, when they banned me, set their media machine to all release thousands of news articles at the same time, trying to convince the world I'm an evil man. If they had that degree of power and influence, which I think we can all probably agree they do, don't you think they'd take their number one talking piece to the demographic, which is my fan, and give him a piece of paper and tell him what to say? Does that not make sense? Does that make sense to say, well, we told all the news to say Tate's bad, and all of his fans are 18 to 25-year-old men. Who do we have on YouTube who obeys us like a little cock, who speaks to 18 to 25-year-old men? Logan Paul. Okay, Logan, here's your piece of paper. You want to get canceled again, Logan? No, you don't want to get canceled, do you? No, Mom.
You were saying a call like that was made?
100%. The dude's a bitch. He 180 from a super fan to talking about my rhetoric being dangerous in 24 hours.
There's a difference between you saying who you think he is versus you making the speculation that he got called by somebody to say, here's a narrative we want you to take, or else we'll silence you.
Well, Logan is not capable of independent thought. So if someone didn't give him the narrative, he didn't think it up himself. The dude's an empty vessel. He says what he is told to say. Somebody, somewhere, told Logan what to say and what stance to take. We can argue whether it's a social media company, whether it's his manager who was fearful, whether whatever. But somebody sat with Logan and said, look, Tate's getting a lot of smoke. You were cool with him. Your boyfriend Mike was cool with him. He's getting a lot of smoke right now. You're going to bitch out. He sat there and said, yes, sir. Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Satan. Thank you, God. Thank you, Satan. Thank you, God. Thank you, Satan. Thank you. You gave me a lot of money. Hey, come in. Stop.
about a week, not today, but about a week ago, I sold my soul. You understand what I'm saying? And ever since I sold my soul, I haven't been happy ever since. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man. Y'all ain't gotta believe me. It is what it is. I'm not even capping. It's because, listen, I had to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Because, like, I had to do it because I was trying to make it, like, you feel me? Like, and as if when I was, selling my soul, like, there was things that I could sacrifice about and stuff like that, and I sacrificed myself. I could have sacrificed anybody, but when you sell your soul, you gotta sacrifice someone that you really love, and I sacrificed myself and stuff like that. A month later, I randomly blew up off Island Boys. Before I said I had a deal with the devil, and then a month later, I blew up. So it worked. They offered me one time, they offered me the second time, I accepted it. 2 weeks after that, I blew up out of nowhere. Unexpectedly, didn't even know. Due to the deal that I made. Now I'm living large, I have everything I want. I'm in a bigger standpoint and a bigger pivot.
How was your recent? Hey, Tiger, what were you gonna do if your lawyer couldn't get you out of your arrest warrant, man?
Listen to me. Now, Ken, let me go.
We just told you get back. We just told you get back. Hey, get up out of here.
Are you serious?
Hey, bro. Bro. Hey, Tyler.
I can't believe it. I cannot. Let me go. Everybody, don't touch me.
We told you.
I'm not believing it. Watch your mouth. Period.
Why you?
No, what's up? It's about King, Tiger. King. Let me just tell him. He sold his soul for everything.
He what?
Sold his soul. Period. And it's about his son. It's not about none of this.
Wait.
That relationship that girl.
What's your relationship to his son?
Period.
What's your relationship to his son?
What? Would have been his wife, but you know how God is stuff is. Yeah.
You were almost his wife?
Yeah.
Really? Wait, what's your
That's right. Finally, viewers all across the country will get the answer to their most burning question. Are the Illuminati real? And if so, why haven't I been invited? Garfield, where are you? I know you know. I know you know.
We have to, how do I say this?
Sell your souls? Really?
I wasn't gonna say that. I know you're thinking, I didn't, I fucked my way to the top. No, bro, that's not what I was gonna say.
Not exactly.
I was gonna say, I sold my soul, yes.
Who'd you sell it to?
LA.
How much did they pay?
$1 million Bitcoin. Fuck, bro.
No, I'm stating this, and I don't want to insult you because I'm not here to bully you or pick on you. No.
We actually like you.
We
wouldn't be around you.
We kind of
because
like you a little.
Lots of people want to hang out with us, and we told them.
How much y'all like me?
I just don't understand how or why you're famous. How are you famous and why?
Bro, Twitch, streaming, I don't know, making kids entertained.
Yeah, but loads of people could do what you do. You just sit there and you're not special. Well, I mean, me, obviously, I'm top G.
I'm top G too.
No, you're not. There must be loads of Aidens just out there.
Of course there are. Now, I will tell you this. I'm very good with networking and smart and that's good at talking to people, and you can see how skillful I am.
There's a handful of us that get to look behind the curtain. There's a curtain, there's another room, and there's a curtain, and in that room is some shit. You're like, God damn, I didn't know y'all was fucking doing this back here. I didn't know y'all was getting this type of money back here. Y'all been doing this for how long? This is how it happens. There's a room that you get in, and the information that comes in it. It's unreal, the stuff that you start to discover. But it's a discovery. It's a discovery. You gotta stumble upon this treasure of information and discovery.
Yeah, I was like, and then I don't know if you've had this, but I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And You've been up, yeah. Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my way of
Yes.
cueing you. Like, it's open dialogue.
Yeah, you want me to keep talking about it?
By all means, we can keep talking about anything.
But don't do it.
Yeah, No, of course. Offered tons.
Try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me. You
Not
see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name. It's up. Sir, my mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah.
Overnight, Dr. Jan Adams lost everything. How did things go south so quickly? He's the physician who performed surgery on Kanye West's mom 8 years ago. She died the next day.
You're known as the doctor who killed Donda West.
Superstar Kanye West is mourning the death of his mother today.
And Dr. Adams quickly found himself being blamed. Critics accused Adams of performing too many procedures on the 5'2", 188-pound former English professor.
Donda West survived the surgery very well. She was at home.
Did anything during that surgery go wrong?
No.
Were there any complications during the surgery?
No.
Was there anything prior to the operation that gave you pause about operating on this woman?
No.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right?
In South Carolina, but police have refused any comment. 4 people have been arrested for stripping and stealing the elder Jordan's cart found last week in Fayetteville, North Carolina. None of those charged are said to be murder suspects. Jordan's body was found August 3rd. The Jordan family has released a statement saying they are shocked by the sudden loss. They're withholding further comment while the investigation is underway.
Or in Lumberton, North Carolina. Mr. Jordan had pulled off the side of the road to rest for a while, and he was shot to death while in his car and was taken to the state of South Carolina and placed into the swamp where he was found.
Bill Cosby, his son, right?
All these people came out, saying that he did this to him because he was trying to make a power move in the black community, or just in the community in general as well, by buying NBC.
He was trying to be a beacon, and his son was murdered. Nobody ever mentions that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever mentions his son was murdered in the richest community in the world.
And it's Cosby, yeah, it's true.
There hasn't been a murder there since.
Wow.
There's definitely, that's why, people have said, why are you riding so hard? Because it don't make sense. None of this whole case don't make sense.
Dr. Dre, his son, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
At that time, I was owed money, but they wasn't paying it. You know what I'm saying? I think they were trying to starve me out. As hard as you work for your money, there's at least 2 or 3 people out there working just as hard to get it from you.
I was there when Dre told me he would sell his soul to the devil for $1 million. And I swear right now, devil got to have a receipt for his ass.
Sacrificing a loved one, and I'm not feeling all that.
It's not like they know they're going to sacrifice somebody. It's once you agree to it and you start to praying to whatever they pray to, then you got to give up a soul. You don't know what soul is going to be. It ain't going to be yours, but it's going to be one close to you.
And then when you give up that soul, that means you guaranteed to go to the top.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, some sad news out of Los Angeles today. It was confirmed this morning that the 20-year-old son of hip-hop star Dr. Dre was found dead in his home on Saturday.
Ben Shapiro is running this narrative that I'm gonna right? And he's like, oh, due to his mental health, he's gonna That way, if they did attempt to kill me like they killed Michael Jackson or JFK, if they did do that, they would say, oh, it's Ye's mental health.
scared to stand up for something. They scared to lose their fucking house. Or they scared to lose their record deal. I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. This came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to. Google lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you.
A creed at the core of every American whose story is not yet written. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still. But I was just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
There was that man that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant. Yeah, boys, they're puny. Puny? Say, let's pretend this green is a puny little ant. Did that hurt? Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
How about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.